Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a decent Monday afternoon. I wanted to talk a little bit about, he's kind of a polarizing figure in this upcoming draft, and I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see, what exactly happens with him. But before I get into that, if you are new to the channel, or if you're new to hockey in general, and you love the sport like I do, like we all do, and if you've got, and especially if you're new to hockey in general, any kind of question you want to ask, throw it to me and I will answer it the absolute best way I can. But if you love hockey, it would be absolutely awesome and greatly appreciated if you would hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of any new videos that are uploaded, you can hit the little bell and it will notify you of any new videos that get uploaded. So we have the draft coming up soon, where we already know who the number one draft pick is going to be. We already know Connor Bedard is the overwhelming consensus number one draft pick. But there's one player that a lot of people were not totally sure where he's going to fall, or how early he gets picked, or if he drops in the draft, and if he drops, how far is he going to drop? And that is Matvei Michkov. Now, this kid, I've seen a little bit of footage of him. Kid's pretty good. There's some people. Or there's some people and some scouts that actually rank him ahead of Connor Bedard. But he's in the KHL. And he is currently under contract to the KHL until, I believe, 2026. So that would be the earliest that he can come over and play. Now, it can be done where the contracts can be broken, but it depends on just how hard the one side is, determined enough to get him out of that contract. Now, unfortunately, Russia is kind of reverting back to how they were back in the Soviet days, when you basically had to smuggle. If you drafted a Russian player back in like the 80s, in like the early to mid 80s, you basically had to smuggle them out. That had to happen with Alexander Mogilny. That had to happen with Sergei Fedorov. That had to happen with basically almost everybody that was on the Russian five on the Detroit Red Wings Stanley Cup teams. They had to smuggle all those guys out of there. And that's basically kind of what, some of these teams are almost going to have to do again if they want these talents. Because Russia does not want their young players coming over anymore. They don't want them coming over to North America and playing. They basically want to keep them playing for their Russian clubs for their entire careers. Whether that's a good thing or not, that's up to, that's up for anybody to decide. Honestly, if these players are good enough and they want to come over and play, absolutely they should come over and play. They should play in the NHL. If they're good enough to play in the NHL, they need to be able to come over. But in the case of Michkov, there's been some issues, I guess. There are kind of some character issues that have been talked about, because people are wanting, like scouts and people from teams are wanting to talk to this kid. But it appears that he's not really interested in talking to a lot of people. Now that could be because either he doesn't want to talk to them, or he's actually not allowed to talk to people, to these scouts. Which I would lean more toward that part, where he's not allowed to talk to these people, to talk to these teams. Because apparently he is supposed to be coming over and will be there for the first round of the entry draft. So he's able to actually be over here. But then he has to go back over there. He has to go back over to Russia. And it's very interesting. Because, scouts have wanted to try, scouts have actually gone over to Russia to try to meet with him. And he has not, like I said, he's either not wanted to meet with them, him personally himself, or he is not being allowed to meet with them. Again, I would think it's more he's not being allowed to meet with them. But there is talk that, he's kind of being that, I'm great at hockey, so I have this entitlement attitude, or he's just real cocky about his talent. As somebody had said, they had said, are there character concerns? Because apparently some people within the NHL and the KHL sources, there are some people that paint a picture of him being very entitled, very cocky, but very competitive. So I don't know. What's necessarily what, but a lot of people think that he's got the talent, that he's good enough to go in to be one of the top 3 draft picks. But I don't see him being picked up as a top 3 pick, because the fact that he's not going to be able to come over the earliest, unless the team that drafts him really badly wants to get him out of his KHL contract, he's not going to be able to come over until 2026. His contract runs through 2026. Now, again, there has been a lot of extenuating circumstances going on with him. His dad just all of a sudden, goes missing, and then they find him dead a few days later. How did that happen? His dad really wanting to get him out of Russia, to get him over here, to play over here. And it's just, Russia's a weird country. Russia is a very, very weird country. When it comes to hockey players, it didn't used to be this hard. It didn't used to be this hard 10 years ago. It was very hard back in the 80s, to get players out of there, to get them to come over here. Like I said, these teams had to smuggle these players out of the country. And then they wouldn't be able to go back to Russia. And that was during the Soviet times. Now, of course, some people would say that basically Russia never really got out of the Soviet times, but, it certainly seems like, Russia is going very, very closed door again when it comes to their hockey players. Because there were a lot of really good Russian hockey players back in the 70s and 80s that they were, if they would have been able to have come over here and played in the NHL, who knows how many titles, how many Stanley Cups they could have won, how many individual awards they could have been won. How many times could Vladislav Tretiak from the 1980 Russian team, how many Vezina trophies could he have won if he played over here? I don't know. He never got the chance, though. And it's just, it's crazy. And the fact that there are some scouts that would put Michkov higher than Bedard, that's pretty darn good, considering Bedard just was named IIHF Athlete of the Year, Male Athlete of the Year. And, him obviously going to be the clear-cut number 1 draft pick by the Chicago Blackhawks. It's going to be interesting. Now, if Michkov does drop, how far does he drop? I'd love to know what you guys think. How far does he drop? And if he drops far enough, who potentially gets him? If he is available, say he drops, and he drops to, say, the Washington Capitals, you almost got to think that Alex Ovechkin would be telling the Capitals GM and that if he's there, you pick him up, you draft him. I don't care that we might have to wait 3 years for him to come over. You get him. Now, purely selfish reasons on my part, being I'm a Minnesota Wild fan, if he drops, and if he drops hardcore, please let him drop to the Minnesota Wild. Because if he were to still be there when the Minnesota Wild draft, which I think the Wild are 19 or 20, somewhere in there, if he's still there, now I don't think he'll be there. But, again, totally selfish reasons on my part. If he is still there when the Minnesota Wild draft, if I'm Bill Guerin, I look at that and I'm like, well, we got Kaprizov. Okay, we might not be able to get him for 2026, but we weren't able to get Kaprizov for a couple years either. Well, we'll go get him. I would absolutely love it if he were to drop this far, if the Minnesota Wild were to draft him, even though they're not going to be able to get him until 2026, to potentially get him over here and pair him with Kirill Kaprizov? Oh, God. Oh, yes, please, please have that happen. If he were to drop that far. I don't think he drops that far. But, again, that's total selfishness on my part, that if he drops, I hope he drops that far. That he falls into the lap of the Minnesota Wild. But, we'll have to see. The draft, of course, will be coming up here in, about another week or so? It's coming up soon. But it will be very interesting to see where he goes, how far he drops, if he drops at all. Somebody might pick him up at say number 3 or number 4. He might not drop very far at all. Or he could drop a ways. We just don't know. And it's the fact that he has that KHL contract until 2026. That's what could be, the point as to whether a team drafts him or doesn't draft him. We'll have to see, though. It's going to be very interesting. And, it'll be definitely interesting. But, yeah. Oh, here's what. June 28th and 29th. That's when the draft is. So the first round of the draft is June 28th. And we'll see on the 28th where he goes, whether he drops, whether he doesn't, and if he does drop, how far does he drop? Let me know what you guys think. How far if he does drop, how far do you think he drops? And if he does drop, who potentially picks him up? I'd love to know what you guys think about that. Let me know. Obviously, if you have not done it yet already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the little notification bell if you want to be notified of any future videos that are uploaded. And I think this is it makes for kind of an interesting question, considering, apparently there's from what some people are saying, there's potential, character issues of being entitled and cocky but very competitive. Does that make a difference on where he drafts? And where does he go? Does he still get picked in the top, potentially in the top 3 or 4? Or does he drop? And if he drops, how far? I'd love to know what you guys think. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. If you have not done it yet already, it would be awesome if you did. And again, if you want to be notified of any future videos that are uploaded, you can hit the little bell to turn on notifications. And I think this is definitely going to be an interesting question leading into the draft. And of course, June 28th, we'll know for sure exactly where he goes. If he goes, where he goes, how far he goes. It'll be interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Again, hit like and subscribe. I'll see you later.